Is this Emma?
This is Emma, yeah.
This isn't Emma?
No, that's not Emma.
It's Friday morning at Alder Children's Casualty in Liverpool.
Right, I'm Richard, I'm one of the casualty doctors. Now, I've got a letter from the GP, but of course it's doctor's writing, so I can't understand it. So,
What it was,
what happened?
Saturday these were playing. Come down, I heard. When I come down, she's lying on the floor and he's been jumping off the coffee table, 1 foot on her back, 1 foot on the carpet.
I never jumped on it.
Well, tell doctor what happened.
What happened? You tell me what happened in your own words.
Well, I standed on her tummy, then 1 foot on the coffee table, standed on it, go off, do it again.
She's telling me a different story.
What's your little story?
How did you do this?
I dropped my back, on my back.
Who jumped on your back?
At the most table on the floor.
Oh, it's the table onto the floor, onto your back?
Yeah.
You sure?
It does look like she's burnt it. Something. Did you do that on the carpet?
Yeah.
She had her clothes on there. She wasn't nude.
Yeah, but the thing is, the clothes can ride up.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
What we'll do is we'll get a chest X-ray. I'm not convinced we'll see anything too sinister there. When they take your picture, you've got to give a big smile like this. Big cheesy grin.
She's vomited up something most interesting.
On the other side of Casualty, Junior Dr. Dan Carroll has an unusual specimen to identify.
Incredible. I've never seen anything like it. Where she's got it from, I don't know. Yeah, well, I tell you, you don't see that every day, do you? I was wondering if you could forward it to the School of Tropical Medicine.
22-month-old Happy McGuffey is having difficulty breathing.
Right, here's the beep machine. Put the light on. Oh, great, we know this one, don't we?
Staff nurse Jan Connor needs to monitor Happy's oxygen levels.
So straight away we're getting saturation of 97%, which is excellent. So it's a slightly less priority. I don't have to go running for a doctor right now and say, right, we've got to do something and be heroic. I've got 10 minutes or so.
This is a young 3-year-old who came in with vomiting for 10 days. And Mum said, actually, she's vomited this up and I don't know what it is. And I took one look at it, I thought, oh, well, I don't like the look of this really. So I showed it to Mr. Matthew, who said, I think that's a roundworm. We'll get the Tropical Schools of Medicine's view on it anyway.
Well, this is the chest X-ray of that kiddie who the brother jumped on. You can see her arms up at the top here, and in the middle here is the heart, the backbone, and the head up here. You can see she was actually smiling like I told her to. And here you can see just a little bit of fluffiness in the lungs, indicating a bit of a chest infection there. I can put my mind at rest that this is actually a chest infection rather than the injury. So she's quite happy, and the kiddies are eating chocolates now, so they're happy as well. So we have a listen. He's having difficulty breathing, and you can see that he's holding his lips together. This is to create a higher pressure as he's taking his breath, and that's why you can hear a lot of the sounds coming from up here. And I think we might have to get a chest X-ray just to be on the complete side. Does that suit you, Happy? Good. That's it, that's a yes. It's not a brilliant X-ray, but I think it does show some shadowing within the lung fields there, which would indicate that he does have some chest problem going on, probably infection as well as the asthma. If he does have clinical signs of a chest infection, then I will be prescribing some antibiotics, but I think he's well enough to be able to go home.
This is Northwest Today with Nigel J. A teenager has been electrocuted and another has suffered burns after touching overhead cables at a railway sidings on Merseyside. Paramedics found one teenager lying on top of a coal wagon. He was dead. Another younger teenager was taken to hospital suffering from burns to his back and legs.
13-year-old Martin Stoll has been rushed to Alder after the accident. He has major electrocution burns and is in a critical condition.
Your voice.
Martin.
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 We're in theatre, sweetheart.
The specialist burns team has been called in. Dr. Richard Grogan will help to assess Martin's wounds.
I don't think it's quite hit home exactly how bad it is, despite the fact that I believe that one of his friends was actually killed in the incident, so it was a very serious burn.
Wounds caused by electrocution are always deep, and Martin's scalp has been burnt through to his skull.
The 80,000 volts from the overhead line caught Martin on the head, and the exit burns through both his feet, and then as he fell, he also had exit burns through this arm and also on his back. But this was the entrance site. It's not a pretty sight.
Down on the burns unit, Martin's mother Nagiba waits for him to return from theatre. The surgeons need to assess the depth of the burns and clean away any dead skin to help the wounds heal quickly. Martin has already been given 6 emergency skin grafts.
The burns themselves look very clean, and the grafts are taking well. There's no evidence of infection, so we're just cleaning them up now.
His left foot was badly damaged where the electricity left his body, so they've had to amputate the big toe.
We just get this one ready in case we need.
So all his other toes are looking healthy?
4-inch crepe.
The biggest risk to Martin from now on is that his burns may become infected, so he'll be taken to an isolation cubicle on the burns ward to protect him.
Come home from work, the police was there and asked me to go to the hospital with him. They said, you know, your son's been in an accident. Took me through, and they couldn't understand why he was alive. They decided to have a ride on the train. That's what it was. It was full of coal, the train. So they decided to jump on to have a ride. And they got electrocuted.
Nagiba has been at Martin's bedside constantly since the accident. Up on intensive care, 4-day-old Faith Hampson is recovering from major life-saving surgery.
Sorry for not popping in last night. Things sort of got a bit...
Neonatal surgeon Rick Turnock operated on her when she was just 2 days old.
And everything went fine.
Faith was born with a diaphragmatic hernia, a hole in the wall of muscle below her lungs. It's a serious condition and affects around 100 babies a year. Faith's intestines had pushed through the hole in her diaphragm and were putting pressure on her heart.
The hole's probably about the size of a 10-pence piece.
Faith's vital organs must return to their correct position, so the first 3 days after her operation are crucial.
So it takes days or even weeks before the X-ray returns entirely to normal. The main thing is that obviously everything's functioning well. I suppose the only other thing is that we'll have to check a jaundice level again this morning. And if that is rising, which it sometimes does after an operation anyway.
Come down.
Oh, had it?
Last night
Right.
it come down to 248.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, if it continues to come down, that's very good news. Yeah.
Since her operation, Faith has been given plasma, and Rick now needs to calculate the balance of fluids in her body.
The intensivists have had to give quite a lot of plasma through the day, so I really need to just sort of top the figures up and see where we're getting to. We use a highly sophisticated pieces of electronic equipment, early learning centre calculators. Have you got the answer yet, Helen?
30 mils for the nappy.
30 mils of urine, right, okay, so actually a lot better, isn't it? She suddenly started passing lots of urine. She's looking very stable. We've had no hiccups so far, and we just hope that things continue this way. Good. Right, I'm off for the weekend. Go fishing. Go and get drunk. I shouldn't be saying that. And the professor will be around this weekend to look after the show.
Okay, thanks.
Cheerio.
Have a good time.
Oh, I will do, don't worry.
It's 4 days since Martin's accident, and he's slowly coming to terms with his injuries.
He cut my big toe off on my left foot.
Your left foot? Is that the one that hurts more?
It is a shame.
Do
Even after several days, an electric shock can cause the heart to stop, so Martin needs to be constantly monitored.
He's nice one minute and then he's terrible the next. He's shouting abuses at him. Not French, just abuses. Then he does apologise when he feels better, like, but I don't know how they put up with him. They need double the money. The Grace.
I'll be sure of. Alright, it's alright. Need to keep an eye on you for a while with you having asthma and having had an operation and having burns on your chest. It can make your asthma worse, alright?
Nagiba and physiotherapist Amanda Venables are trying to persuade Martin to sit up to help him clear his chest.
I can't, I'm in too much pain when I do that.
Just put your arm there a bit further up.
I can't move.
Just try.
I won't, no. When I say I can't move, I can't.
Just bring forward a little bit.
I can't even itch myself.
Where are you itchy?
Everywhere.
Doctors are worried that the deep wound on Martin's head is not healing. They'll need to examine his burns again in theatre under a general anaesthetic.
I'll get you a scratching stick.
I can't bend my arms to use it.
All right.
Every week, over 8,000 young footballers take to Liverpool's playing fields. Not all of them make it to the end of their match.
They're both on the same side, and Phil got injured and came off, and then I got injured and came off.
I was playing football, the coach hit the ball, didn't think I was stupid enough to save it. Went to save it, done a backflip and landed on it.
Oh well. Brave lad. Did you save it anyway?
Yeah.
Oh well, there you go. That's okay. Alright, you haven't broken it then.
He came in down the top and my foot just spun now.
Ah.
My leg stayed still.
It looks broken, mate.
Yeah.
That hurt?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll tell you what, you're going around for an x-ray. Dived in goal. And which way did you fall on it? You fall on it this way so it bent that way, or did you fall on it this way so it bent that way?
That way.
That way. Oh dear. You've broken your radius. Hard luck. Good footballing injury, that one.
I've got to find a new goalie now.
Oh no.
Duncan Ferguson, best player in the world.
I know from Chelsea, it's wonderful. We just wait till the Is it Monday? Is it Monday? Is it 1-0? 1-0 to Everton. Duncan Ferguson.
You just amaze me. You might be a very good doctor, damn it. Apart from that, you've got nothing. No common sense.
What? Being a good doctor?
Yeah, that's trying to be polite, you see. But...
Squeeze my fingers as tight as you can. Fine. It's not broken, but it doesn't look broken to me anyway. So, there you can go.
Kid just fell over, and football, you know, all these really trivial ones generate quite a reasonable amount of paperwork.
But I know why it's particularly bad around here, because Liverpudlians are notoriously litigious if things go wrong. So there has to be quite a lot of paperwork.
What was that? Hey, say that again.
Don't you be skipping us,
You don't even understand.
Don't you be skipping us.
What was that comment? I missed it completely.
I said you're notoriously litigious around here.
Well,
Liverpudlians.
I'll sue
They
him.
take you to court and sue your pants off us.
The word.
Why didn't you say they sue me?
With up to 70,000 patients seen a year, Alder Children's Casualty is the busiest in Europe, and the proper use of casualty services is often debated.
The problem is that if you carry on encouraging an attitude like yours, inappropriate in attendance.
No, I don't encourage inappropriate attendances, Dan. What I said is I understand why these people come.
Oh, I understand why they
They're
come.
worried for their children, and so they come. They ring the GP up, the GP's not interested. They're worried about their child. They won't sit and do nothing, so they come because they're worried. Who in their right mind would come and sit for hours in a casualty waiting room just for the fun of it?
No one around here. But, I mean, they don't, that's it. They don't sit for hours in the casualty waiting room. Not
Quite
usually
often
here.
they do. Quite often
Because,
they do.
because the resources are there for them to be seen. But I think that probably the resources are inappropriately targeted.
Yeah, maybe because the
I mean,
resources
I do
should be
that.
targeted towards accident prevention, shouldn't they?
The resources should be targeted towards primary care, which doesn't seem to be happening.
No, it doesn't, because that's the structure of the NHS.
No, it isn't. The structure of the NHS is such that it is a primary care-driven service.
We've had the NHS.
Well, the NHS has changed drastically in the last 5 years, even.
It has changed in principle, but the Joe public don't think it has. They don't realise it's changed. They just see things as they always were. There are the doctors, there are the nurses, there's the hospital, we'll use them.
Yeah.
They need educating.
They need educating. That's part of the telling them that they're attending inappropriately.
Upstairs in intensive care, Faith's jaundice is improving and she's starting to wake up. Her parents were warned that 50% of babies with her condition die. But Faith is continuing to make a good recovery.
But she's a little bit more awake, you see, she's trying to move in both ways, yeah.
Oh.
This is one of the best experiences of your life. Yeah, one of the best, yeah. Besides going to Rome in 1977 to see Liverpool win the European Cup. I was only a nipper then, and I was only 17.
And you put that first, I think that's
Didn't say I put it first.
Football.
Well, I was interested in football more then, wasn't I?
There's more important things, more...
5 days of joy it was.
Best experiences in life than football.
Probably is, yeah. But that was one of my best experiences.
Faith hasn't breathed on her own since the operation, but today doctors feel she's ready to be taken off life support.
Right, so we're ready to get this tube out.
Oh, I'm not staying, I'm going home, so I'm a bit squeamish.
Okay.
Consultant David Lacey will take out the ventilator tube.
Oh dear, this isn't going to be very nice. Good girl, that's it. Ooh. Okay. Good girl. Good girl. That's it. 100%. So that's good. We won't give her any milk down the tube initially. We'll just wait a few hours just to make sure she's managing off the ventilator.
Hey. Look at her lovely little nose.
So we'll see how she gets on overnight, and if she's doing really well, there's a possibility of her going up to the neonatal surgical unit tomorrow.
Faith is now breathing well without any help. 14-year-old James Horrocks has come into casualty with a growth on his ankle.
It just started growing at the end of last week and it's gone worse every day. But it started bleeding yesterday.
It's a little granuloma, which is a overgrowth, if you like, of the healing tissues. And the healing tissues just are a bit vigorous there. It's not a serious problem, it's just annoying. And what I'm going to do is put some bit of chemical on there, which basically does the cauterization, the burning back process.
Hi, good morning. It's Dr. Carol at Alder here. I sent a sample from the casualty department here to the School of Tropical Medicine for someone to have a look at it to see if they could identify a species of roundworm, we think.
Dan is still searching for an answer to the mystery of the worm.
I marked it urgent sample on the front. So, no, you haven't received it yet then? We sent it via the internal mail, which probably a bit dodgy.
So, let's do the deed. Feel anything? Shouldn't have, because there's absolutely no nerves in this or anything. It'll just fall off, and you might get some oozing from the site, but hopefully if we can keep it nice and dry, clean and not infected, it should heal up. Okay. We'll sort out for him to come back again so we can have a look at it. How's a week's time?
Yes, fine.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
It might mean missing a morning of school, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Thanks very much. OK, bye-bye. Haven't received it. Internal mail, as usual. So, don't know yet. They're going to ring me back if they found anything.
Up on Ward F2, 10-year-old Stephen Stewart is waiting to go to theatre. He has brittle bones. The slightest pressure can cause a fracture. He's already had 6 operations to insert metal rods into his legs and arms to protect and strengthen his bones. His forearms and neck are still unprotected.
Can you have me glass?
Okay. See where we're going? See butterflies again?
Yeah.
Stephen had an operation 2 weeks ago to straighten his club foot, and today he's going to theatre to have the plaster changed. The procedure would be painful without a general anaesthetic, as Stephen's foot has not yet healed.
About 3/4 of an hour, something like that.
Orthopaedic surgeon John Walsh performed the surgery, and today he'll be taking a mould of Stephen's foot so a splint can be fitted. It's hoped this will help Stephen to walk for the first time in his life.
What we're going to do first of all is to take these stitches out, and then Mr. Sims is going to make him a splint. Have you got a stitch removal pack, please? Always have to be very careful with Stephen because of his brittle bone problem. So this is a mould. It's filled with a material, and then mould is taken over the top of that, so that it actually is an accurate fit of the shape of the leg and foot.
Back on the ward, Stephen has come round from his operation very quickly.
That's good. You hungry?
Dog.
So we'll make you toast. Toast.
All his life, Stephen and his family have lived with the fact that his bones could break at any time.
Don't start.
Hold your own. Don't.
It seems that Stephen has broken yet another bone. Since his birth 10 years ago, he's had over 50 fractures.
All right, okay. All right, oh, come on. All right. Take some deep breaths for me. See, it's out of shape anyway, yeah. But you can see it's come up, hasn't it? Oh, dearie me, Stephen.
You're not forgiving me. Still pain, Steve? Stephen?
X-rays have been taken of Stephen's arm, and John Walsh confirms he has broken it.
He's sustained a fracture here, which is where the bone's at its most convex. It's minimally displaced and will heal in 2 or 3 weeks. But he needs protecting the plaster.
That's the bit that you heard snapping, wasn't it?
Oh, Stevie.
Since Stephen was a baby, plasterer John Franklin has fitted his casts for him.
I got me toast, but then I ate me off.
You got your toast and then you ate
and
your
I
arm.
took it away again, didn't I?
You didn't feel like it then? I know a cooking's bad, mate, but you don't have to break your arm, so you don't have to eat it.
I'm very gently just going to pop my hands underneath to stay all right.
You ready for the plaster, Steve? Same as we did before, son.
What a big heavy one, Johnson. It goes really cold then, doesn't it?
Do you know the new way we have for doing plasters now, where we have to put you in the oven for half an hour?
You do?
Do you? Go really warm, eh?
I'm back, Steve.
Right, off we go.
You all right, Louise?
Bye.
See you, Steve. Bye, Mrs.
Bye
Stewart.
now.
Up on the neonatal ward, Faith is continuing to make a good recovery.
Oh, so we're going to be home soon.
Oh, yes.
Aren't we?
When Faith was critically ill, her parents asked the hospital chaplain to bless her. Now she's almost ready to go home.
James, you want to help me bless your sister? Come stand by Father Terry.
Go, Father Terry.
Come stand in a minute. You stand on this side here, right? So I'm going to ask God to bless her now. So God our Father, send your blessing down upon Faith tonight. Help her to continue to get stronger. And may she...
Faith's operation has been successful, and she should need no further treatment.
We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
It's a week since Martin had his first operation, and he needs to go to theatre again this morning.
They're going to do a flap. They're going to move the skin over, because one side's not healing. and they might be doing skin grafts on his right foot. They won't know properly till he comes back.
We'll have a look at things. This morning we'll redress all the areas and we'll tidy up the scalp. I will see you downstairs later. Yes, yeah.
Consultant Richard Bryson has to decide what steps to take next in Martin's treatment.
Okay. Sort of half expected. As that's actually bare bone, you won't be able to get skin graft to take on that. So we need to move some scalp over from there to cover it, and then have a graft over there.
The burns will now be redressed, but Martin will be back in theatre next week for the first of many operations. Over on Ward F2, Stephen is recovering from his latest setback.
I'm not allowed here.
Come on.
Can I come in now?
Get in.
Pardon? Just send me out when your mum comes back there, won't you? Hey? Not allowed to touch you, am I?
No.
The operation on Stephen's foot has been a success, and it's hoped that he'll soon be able to take his first steps.
I don't know. Is it very sore, Stephen? Not too bad. Now, your foot looks pretty good, actually, as you can see. What you came in for today looks all right. So your toes are up nice and straight now. Okay. So all your wounds have healed. You know the cuts have healed up, and that plaster needs to stay on, I think, for about another 4 weeks.
Stephen will be able to leave the hospital later on today.
Been a long day, Stephen, hasn't it?
Yep.
Meanwhile, back in Casualty, Dan has finally solved the worm mystery.
Did you see that roundworm we had?
I didn't.
No. It was quite disgusting. And he sent it to School of Tropical Medicine. He just rang me back now. And we're most amused and quite embarrassed to find out that it is in fact an earthworm. That she has coughed up, or part of an earthworm, nicely flattened by her stomach. So I've now got to call the GP and say, actually, it was an earthworm.